I'm back and I have returned.
Nice.
My first video for 2026. I'm still recovering from my uncle's passing, so I'm going to put my usual intro on hold because I'm not in the mood to give all that energy. But I'm definitely in the mood to talk smack about Stranger Things Season 5 for sure.
Nice.
I've been binging on a lot of shows and movies since my uncle's passing just to, get me through the process. And I was looking forward to Stranger Things being good. Especially after the first volume, I thought, you know what, they dropped the ball for me. For me, they dropped the ball in the first volume, but hopefully the second volume would be substantial enough. All that bickering and arguments and back and forth nonsense that they did in the first volume, I felt, okay, they're going to pay that off in the second volume. They're going to minimize on that and peak the action and peak the camaraderie and, just bring things to a healthy close.
That's right.
Storytelling is a very, very powerful tool. You can educate, you can heal, you can inform, you can inspire, you can give people hope, you can take away hope, you can scare people with storytelling, you can crush people's desires and hopes and dreams and aspirations. You can uplift the people.
You ain't lying.
I don't understand what the Mind Flayer wants or wanted from the beginning. So I may do multiple videos just based on the Mind Flayer alone, then start talking about different aspects of what I didn't love about Season 4 and Season 5. I'm also going to let you guys know off the bat, my favorite seasons is 1, 2, and 3.
Woo! You don't understand.
I currently rewatched Season 2 and fell in love with it again. Now I'm currently binging Season 1 and I'm seeing the pattern of the Duffer brothers where it's like they think they're doing something creative, but they don't pay it off towards the end. And there's certain things they didn't answer from Season 1 all the way to Season 5. Even looking at Nancy now, the whole Nancy and is it Jonathan relationship and their breakup or whatever. I want to do a separate video for that one because this chick was written to be, well, she felt like a prick to me.
But why?
She felt like a prick, especially now that I'm rewatching Season 1. She was written in a way that I didn't like. Just like Lucas. Lucas was a douchebag.
Damn.
They wrote Lucas to be a douchebag in Season 1. I'm currently watching. I'm like, I don't like this guy. I can't believe how I forgot how this guy made me feel. Especially being the only black kid on the squad as well. They wrote him to be a douchebag, and I get it. He's children, and everyone reacts differently. But nah, they wrote him to be a prick.
You are mean.
But I'm going to pause on all that. I'm just going to talk about the Mind Flayer's intention, desire, and what it wanted or what it wants or what it needed. From Season 2, in fact, Season 3 onwards, I still couldn't get the mission of the Mind Flayer. Now, currently rewatching Season 1, I was like, dude, this guy won already, or this thing won already. If your intention was to take over Earth just like the invasion of the Body Snatchers, then it's won.
What do you mean by that?
If you're writing a villain, you have to at least show the end game of the villain. You have to show the process of the main bad getting close to its goal, and then the heroes have to rally to stop it, just like Thanos in the Avengers. At least in Infinity War, we got to see that Thanos got what he wanted. The villain said he was going to do something, and he pulled it off. And then Endgame, it was them having to undo what he did through some very, very intricate system. They had to go through a lot to undo what Thanos did, but at least we got to see Thanos fulfill his mission. Now the Mind Flayer, I can't even blame the Mind Flayer because it's down to the stupid writing or to the lack of vision from the Duffer brothers and whoever's in charge, whether they stole the idea or stole the concept or borrowed it from someone or pulled from different people and made their own thing. I don't know. It's beginning to feel like they didn't even know what they were doing from Season 1.
That's right.
Because after Will got taken to the Upside Down, and then it had the tentacle attached or the whatever thing attached to its mouth, and then it's feeding whatever gunk into the system. Surely that should be stage 1 of transforming one of the species of this planet or one of the human beings of this planet to your liking.
That's a good question.
When you've kidnapped a creature as a Mind Flayer, and then you take it to your reality or your realm or your upside down and whatever, what is your aim? What's your end game? What do you want to do? You want everything and every creature to be like you. Cool. Then you put your tentacle on the mouth of this creature. It then becomes like you, or it's got part of you inside it. And then do they stay there and you kill them off, or do you send them back to the right side, to whatever dimension you've taken them from? When I sat down and really paid attention to this final season and how they gave us such a lackluster battle. Even the Mind Flayer coming in this whatever size Godzilla looking thing, I was like, dude, that doesn't look like an intelligent creature, especially a creature who in its dust particles or atomic miniature particles spoke to Vecna or Henry through telepathy, and in English, by the way, telling him to find it.
How, Sway?
These guys don't know what they're doing. It's as simple as they didn't know what they were doing since season 1, especially for the Mind Flayer. They had no idea what they were doing. It was cool. Season 1 is awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's got its issues here and there, but as a standalone concept, it's awesome. And even in that awesomeness, you can still pick out a few flaws that you're like, okay, maybe if they sit down and intend to do a season 2, they'll tie up those loose ends and pay off the little questions that they left for the viewers to ask. I'm just trying to get into the mentality and intelligence of this Mind Flayer. We're like, is it more advanced than human beings? Is it more intelligent than human beings? How many other planets has it taken over? Has it left that planet that it's on? Has it ever taken over any other civilization, any other creatures? Has it taken over different animals in different parts of the world? Like, what's your point? What are you here for? But the Mind Flayer, I feel, already won once it got itself or its particles into will. That's you've crossed the threshold from your dimension to this dimension. So now what do you want to do? Do you want to take over the planet like a hive mind thing? Do you want to give do you want to pick particular people or children who are weak of mind, who are easily manipulated, who wouldn't necessarily struggle and fight against your mental or psychological spiritual hold? If that's the case, then it makes sense to go for children. You could have gone for like 10 children and, done the what's that movie with the children with the eyes? Is it Children of the Corn?
No!
It could have easily done that.
Willingly?
Yes.
The lack of intelligence is not necessarily based on the Mind Flayer, or it's not necessarily its fault. It's the Duffer brothers' fault. They don't know what they wanted to do with the Mind Flayer, and it shows in the season finale. It definitely shows. How can you be this Godzilla-sized looking creature trying to fight ants? And then one of the ants had a M16 machine gun, and that was weakening you. And then they threw fire bombs at you, and oh my goodness. What an atrocious final episode. And such a poor way to end something so powerful. The Duffer brothers created a creature that they don't even know its power, its limit, or they've shown us its limit. A very small M16 machine gun. They haven't even shown, they don't even know what it wants. Do you want to take over the entire planet or decimate it and go to another planet? Because the Mind Flayer has it easy. You don't have to leave your domain at all. All you do is sit in your dimension and find ways to control people or different creatures in different realities or different planets and start tearing wormholes and whatnot. Or I might have to sit down and do a separate video of that. If I was a Mind Flayer, how would I want to take over different planets? Easy, especially if you're saying you're feeding off to different planets. Where he's at right now, it's a slam dunk. You're in your dimension. You can do anything from your dimension. You don't have to become a physical force. You can stay as your dust particles and influence a battalion of people. It already possessed will, and all it had to do was allow will to go next to other people and just cough in their faces, and the particles enter. Then you had the tunnels that Will was building overnight, and even the fact that if you were saying that you wanted the Mind Flayer to terraform Earth, it already started doing a good job of doing that in Hawkins. That was already a good plan. Not only did you take over Will, you already started finding ways to burrow underground and affect the livestock or to affect the fruits and vegetables. Beautiful. Or if you said it went the Mind Flayer's desires to take over planets and then transform any living humanoid person into the Demogorgons, cool. Why not? But at least let the viewers know the end game or the main plan of the Mind Flayer. But to say that it's going to put his particles inside some other human beings and start giving them random powers or change their blood type completely and give them a new blood type and not further that down. Oh my God, man. Ah, shit. I think this thing was bad from the get-go. I don't know if I want to do a full watch along with you guys from season 1 because I'm already like 4 or 5 episodes in. I don't know if I want to start episode 1 again because all I just see is the flaws. I'm enjoying it now, but I'm still seeing the flaws. Like I'm like, oh, I can see where their first mistakes were made. They don't know what they want to do with the Mind Flayer. You've said this, there's a black room this child goes into when she's got the helmet on and the water tank, when she's got the blindfold on and she's listening to static. She goes into this in-between reality that only she can access, I assume, or any other telepathic. These are dope things you've created. But I'd have liked that black space was only unique to Elle and no one else. But I guess it makes sense that the Demogorgon was also in there because she was in this infinite space that it's like a radio signal or a frequency that anyone can piggyback off. But yeah, like I said, I'm still recovering from my uncle's passing, so I'm a little all over the place with this video. And even my voice as well. I thought my voice was good to go, but as I'm talking, I can feel it at the back of my throat.
Hey, yo, what the?
It's a shame how this thing fell off. From season 4, I could tell certain things were going wrong. But season 5 was the absolute nail in the coffin. It's a massive shame because it's an excellent concept. But if you don't know what your main bad guy is doing, or you don't have the end game of your main evil force, your super boss, your intergalactic demon, whatever you want to call it, if you don't know what its purpose is and what it wants, the viewers are left wondering, okay, so I mean, this is cool with a Demogorgon and Elle can do the telekinesis thing, but we're going to start asking questions. Where did it come from? Oh, Brenda did a program and yada. Okay, cool. You start showing us different, multiple factions of scientists and trying to fight the war and this and oh, it's back in the 80s. So the Russians and Soviets, cool. But at the same time, we're going to start asking questions about this creature and where it comes from. And then saying that there's another thing that controls the creature. Okay, then what does this main thing that controls these creatures want? What does it want to do? Like, is that creature, the Mind Flayer, is it aware of other planets, other dimensions? Has it done this thing before to other creatures, other planets, other civilizations? Or is it the first time it's doing this thing on this scale? Because if we look at Brenner's experiments, taking the blood of Vecna or Henry, and then infusing it with different pregnant women and whatever, however way he did that experiment, I want to do a separate video for that one. That one is just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. But that alone, I would have thought that that's a win-win for the Mind Flayer. I don't have to, kidnap different people in their childhood and enter their minds and tell each of them, find me. I already got into this kid called Henry, and his blood is now being transformed by my power and my particles. We have a telekinetic bond, or telepathic bond, shall I say. He now has powers, and those powers activated ASAP when he took that scientist's brain out, or his eyes, or when he killed him in the tunnel. That's instant activation, not 2 days, not 5 days. Not like Spider-Man where he got bit by the spider, he passed out and woke up and he had 6-pack and muscles and he didn't need glasses anymore. That was an instant transformation, no hesitation. So you'd think that this particle or this now new transformed being, no human on the outside, but his blood is no longer its original blood type. You would think it's a win-win for the Mind Flayer when Brenner finds out about him. Yeah, he suppresses the power with a chip. It's cool. It's like, yeah, you can suppress his powers, but now you taking his blood and infusing his blood into other pregnant women, that's a no-brainer.
You ain't lying.
That is a no-brainer because you could have used not only Vecna or Henry. Fuck it, I'm going to call him Vecna and Henry at the same time. Not only Henry, Vecna, but all the other children before 11 even. You could have used them as your foot soldiers because Those abilities came straight from the Mind Flayer. That telekinesis, that illusion stuff that 8 had, that's all from the Mind Flayer. Whether Brenna did something to the blood, that blood does not belong to Henry or Vecna anymore. That blood is a unique signature of the Mind Flayer. So even putting the chip in Henry's neck, like, I'm going to suppress your powers, me as the Mind Flayer, like, yo, that blood is different. That blood is all me. So you can suppress his powers. Just keep passing the blood along. That would have been a simple way out of taking over the planet. Use those 12 children or 11 children or 10 children as my foot soldiers to decimate everyone. Instantly, easily. And then infuse Brenna with the blood as well. Because then you now have a psychic link with all these children. They're going to play along in the whole environment and act like they normally do. But when it's go time, when I say, yo, it's time to take over, you do your thing. You can stop a flying jet, a tank, and you could have used Brenna to train them more, to get them stronger. And then you just have a battalion of those children.
That boy is good.
That's why I was like, dude, I don't even know why it's such a struggle, because you've won. The fact that you got your particle into one human being first.
Wait a minute.
Actually, no, you got into my bad. Because if we're following the Duffer brothers' weird timeline, it first got its particle into Henry Vecna. Then when we saw season 1, second time it affected any other human being, that would be Will. So to me, that's success.
Success.
2 children have affected at 2 different times in 2 different eras. One little boy in the cave, and fast forward to 1980s, another boy in Hawkins. 2 children I've successfully infiltrated. And then, like I said earlier on, with the blood being infused from Vecna Henry into all the other people, win-win. So you don't need to want to merge the planet with Earth with your, humongous Godzilla-looking body, and then you allowed an M16 and a flamethrower and some flame balloons or some petrol balloons or whatever to take you out. Or finally, the final takedown was when L did, but whatever. It's yeah.
Tired of this shit.
When I rewatched the seasons, I'm like, yeah, these guys, I don't think they knew what they were doing. It's a cool show. I'm not going to crap on the show. I'm not going to crap on the idea, but it just feels like they started something and they felt, let's just do it and then leave it alone. So even if they come out and say, oh, we had this idea planned from season 1, bullshit. Because by the way the seasons have panned out, especially between 4 and 5, it does not look like they planned this from the beginning. If they did, we'd have seen the plan or the process of the Mind Flayer becoming more clear.
That's right.
Brenna could have been their second level general on Earth, because obviously Vecna was the first. So Brenna can't take over Vecna because Vecna came first. Henry was the first person to have that whole rock infused into his body. So he's the prime general. And yes, Brenna is intelligent and he's got the science and whatnot. Cool. But you're the second general. And the more you're infusing pregnant women with your DNA and then giving birth to new children, it's an absolute takeover. You can infiltrate the planet with presidency. You can infiltrate the planet and go and stop any US defense system, Russian defense system. As in, realistically, practically, that is a win already.
That's what I'm talking about.
But the Duffer brothers had no idea what they were doing, so they didn't play off of that. In my book, that's a win. If it's an intergalactic dimensional being that takes over planets and uses its people to decimate the planets or suppress the planet, after taking over Henry and then allowing Brenna to use Henry's blood, or technically to use the Mind Flayer's blood into all these other pregnant women to then give birth to a new young army. He doesn't even need to infiltrate children anymore with his particles, because he now has new children that are fully bonded with its own blood inside them. And with something so powerful, you could be like the Vitramites. 1% human, 99% or 99.999.9% Mind Flayer. Easy win. You don't have to leave your dimension and turn yourself into this huge, gigantic spider Godzilla thing. I'm going to merge the Earth and go through the wormhole. And then when I land on Earth, I'm going to take over and then squash people. Dude, how does that make any sense? Squash people where? If you got taken down by people with an M16 and a flamethrower, dude, the army would have come at you with a missile launcher or 10,000 missile launchers. Your one weakness is fire. You douchebag. And I'm talking to the thing as if this thing is real, but I have to keep reminding myself that it's the stupidity of the Duffer brothers.
What did you just say?
In terms of the intelligence of this entity, is it as intelligent as human beings? Less intelligent than human beings, or more intelligent than human beings? How old is it? How long has it been in dimension X, A, B, Z, Y, whatever, zigzag, zuga?
Right jab like Zab Zuga.
When I fully came to the realization that, no, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing since season 1, I said, no, I don't even care if they were Demogorgons or Demodogs, or they weren't Demogorgons or Demodogs on planet X or planet Y or whatever, triple Z. I don't care I don't care. This just shows to me that these guys had zero clue or zero idea as to what to do with the Mind Flayer. They had no idea from season 1. Because entering Will is already a win. Just one person, one creature, one humanoid, one human being. If you're in your dimension and you easily infiltrate one sub-creature and the creature goes on to live its day without knowing you're inside it, whilst you're fine-tuning its mind, its thinking, its eyesight, its body, fine-tuning from the inside slowly but surely. Even after the traumatic experience, you make it forget. You suppress it so well. You take over subconscious. It can't remember it. It will never dream or remember the takeover in a dream. You will make sure you deal with that department and let it go by its day. And because you're a powerful entity, you're going to be patient. You wait for this male or female entity to reach puberty, mate, and then spread. Look at Species as well. She just wanted to mate with different people and spread. Come on. Woo! I couldn't care less how awesome season 1, 2, 3 is or are. The Duffer brothers, these guys are complete idiots. To me, if you love them, thumbs up to you. I'm not trying to shake. To me, because if you don't know what your main bad wants and how he's going to get it, then it's a reflection of you, the writer, not knowing what you want. Unless you say, oh, the Mind Flayer is just a regular thing that has zero intelligence, and then cool. But you didn't put that across to the viewers. If we're out here doing different ideas or different theories, or I think no. When you're telling the story, you have to be clear. You can do your superposition ending with L. Is she dead or is she alive? Yeah, Schrodinger's cat, bitch.
Damn.
Schrodinger's cat. L is in superposition as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if she's dead or alive, because you spoilt the whole entire series for me. So now I'm having to do extra detective work to rewatch the whole series only to season 3, not season 4 and 5, because they as soon as they opened volume 1 with that nonsense of they put metal plates over the tears.
You serious?
Like I said, excellent idea. Excellent idea. Sometimes you can make the bad guys win. The thing till this day, we don't know if that dog that had the alien creature inside it survived or not. But the whole movie itself was beautiful. Even the day after, is it Day After Tomorrow or War of the Worlds? What's it called again? The Tomorrow War. That was still a good story. It was poorly done, but the concept itself was beautiful to me. Because those kind of aliens, they look like aliens that would decimate half of the population of Earth. They were hard to kill. Species, simple story. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, simple story. Hive mind, don't sleep. I want to even do a separate video for that one, because that one works. That one is the easiest, simplest story, but it's the fear of saying once you sleep, you will wake up not even feeling like yourself anymore. Even though you're still part of you, but you're not you. It's still a beautiful story. The intention of this alien thing or entity or force or parasite or whatever you want to call it is to become one with all living humanoids. I'm going to do part 2 for this one. It's a shame, because we all fell in love with this concept, the characters. So I'm not going to take that away from Duffer Brothers at all. The characters, the acting, the actors, the journey we all went through collectively, the ups and downs, the fears, the shock, especially Will's ordeal, Will's mom, everyone, but mainly Will's mom, Will and 11. And even the way Brenna was just cold-hearted. Absolutely cold-hearted. You could have used an excuse to say that's why Brendan was cold-hearted, because he was ready infused with the Mind Flayer.
Nice.
He was no longer there. He was already on the mission under the Mind Flayer's influence. Oh yeah, Hive Mind Flayer's influence. It could have been the whole freaking Children of the Corn, but with telekinetic powers and what? Did they have telekinetic powers? I think it's telekinetic powers and telepathy. But yeah, I think I'm going to stop recording for now because I just wanted to get this video out. I've been holding on to this anger for a while, so let me let it go before this thing cooks my inside. Yeah. Out here enjoying, old school movies. I watched Home Alone 1. I forgot to finish 2. My auntie and cousin were down with my mom. We all spent Christmas together, so it was beautiful. Especially after my uncle's passing, we were just using that time to heal. So I said, you know what? One thing I love doing is watching movies because of the story, the inspiration, how movies make you feel. Sometimes when you find it hard to cry, you watch a good movie, emotional movie, and that movie helps you release. Only to fast forward watching this putrid tripe season. And that tension and anger I wanted to let go of just, tripled up. It just grew. I'm like, I gotta let this shit get out of my system. How could they mess this thing up?
That's a good question.
How could they mess this thing up? It's a shame. Absolute shame.
That's right.
The Mind Flayer doesn't know what it wants because the writers don't know what they want.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
I'm done.